Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Dzkan Toys, where I do reviews and share my thoughts on some of my favorite toy releases. Hope all of you guys are doing well, and also remember to support the channel by liking and subscribing, and make sure you stay to the end of the video to see some cool pictures that I will be taking with today's figure. Today we'll be reviewing something special, as it is a transforming figure. It is by the company Sentinel, and it is the Persona 5 the animation variable Johanna figure. I know some of you guys pronounce the name Johanna as Johanna, but for the sake of this video, I will use Johanna. A little bit of a background on the Sentinel toy company. They're a HK toy company focusing on high-end toys development and ODM production. This is direct from their Facebook. They create a lot of figures that are less mainstream, and they're very unique, so if you're interested, definitely check them out. In terms of the figure in front of us, Johanna, it is from the popular video game Persona 5 and the anime Persona 5 the animation. So Persona 5 is one of the many installments in the popular video game franchise Persona, or otherwise known as Shin Megami Tensei. They're developed by the company Atlus, and the game is mainly known for its relationship building with different characters and also its action-based RPG system. So in the series Persona, what happens is once the character goes through an epiphany through strong determination, they'll unlock a special power, a manifestation of their inner self. And this spiritual power that they unlock, sort of like an alter ego, is known as the persona. It's very similar to Stan's in the popular series JoJo. It is then, Johanna is the spiritual manifestation and the persona of the character Makoto Nijima in the series. As we see in front of us, we have some artwork of her and Johanna, courtesy of the booklet that was included in the special edition of the Persona 5 video game. Okay, now that we've gone through some background information about the series and the manufacturer, let's get this started and see what this figure is all about. So here's the figure unboxed. Now let's have a look at Johanna. Front view, side view, back view. In terms of accessories, the Sentinel Johanna figure is quite minimal, but that is understandable as it's just a motorbike. But it's very nice that they included us with a stand, as we see on the right side. The stand comes separated, and all you need to do is attach this black peg piece, and also we see this clear piece here. We can peg them at 4 corners of the stand, so either over here, 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 or here. And this is actually a holder for the motorbike's back wheel, so you can pose the motorbike on this stand as well. Here's the demonstration. So something unique about this holder stand over here is that you can adjust the position in the front to be more angled or more straight. This way you can pose the bike in a more slanted position or more straight position. An example to show you guys, so you can unplug this and you take this part out, so you can either put it like this or like this, so you see it's more angled. And let's take the bike back here. If you put it here, it'll be a more angled version of the bike, for example. And if you put it like this, it'll be angled to this way, and you put it back on the stand, so you can pose it like that. Here's an example of the bike stand in use. So when it's angled upwards, the bike will be straight like this. Let's take it off and take the bike, secure it back on, and we see the bike is in a more leaning position. You can also lean to the other side as well, so this is a nice touch. Also, in terms of accessory, we have this middle stand part here. This is for putting the figure once we transform Johanna into the other form. But in terms of articulation, it has on the bottom a bend, middle bend, and also the top bend. And it is secured by 3 screws on the stand. You can also take a screwdriver to tighten it to make sure it's tighter at various joints if needed. And the last bit regarding the accessories, we also have these 3 clear pieces, and they can attach together as a stand holder that connects to the stand. And this is specifically for Johanna once she transforms. And we also have this extra piece of weaponry, which is a knife. In terms of aesthetics, the figure Johanna looks like a faithful representation of its video game and anime counterpart. After looking through the figure itself and the official artwork, they look almost exactly the same. So Sentinel definitely did a good job here. Let's have a closer look at the details. In terms of paint, we have this light silver, really light shade of blue coloring all over the bike. And then we have a darker silver in the middle and also a lighter silver for the pipes. We also have black accents all over the bike itself. And something unique, we see some gold parts within over here and here. And these are actually more relevant once you transform the figure. But even in bike form, they look great and adds details and depth to the figure. In terms of the front, we also have this very unique clear blue plastic piece, and this piece is definitely to showcase the face inside the bike. As we see, if you look in the front, you can see a face, and this face represents Johanna. Now let's check out the articulation in the bike form. So for articulation, the wheel does rotate front and back. The wheels are not made of rubber though. I wish they would have considered that material. So when rolling like this, I hear some minor noises. It may be some parts being touched and scratched potentially, so definitely roll this figure at your own risk of the paint being scratched. In terms of the handles, they also go back and forth, and something unique is the front part. The clear visor, you can lift it up and there's articulation here, and you can see a closer look at the Johanna face. Of course, this might be part of the transformation gimmick, but it's just nice that you can also lift this part up to check out the details in bike form as well. Now let's get this figure transformed and see its special gimmick. Ta-da! Now we have the Johanna figure transformed. Due to the design of the feet, the figure can't stand on its own. That's why we were given peg stands to hold it on the stand to display it once we transform it. Right now I'm actually leaving it on the booklet itself. So remember these 3 clear plastic pieces that I was talking about earlier? Let's assemble these, attach it to the back of the figure, and put the figure on the stand. Once we attach the 3 pieces together at the back of the wheel, it looks something like this. Now that we have the stand holder attached, we can peg it on the stand itself. So here's a closer look at the figure on the stand. We have a front view, side view, and back view. Let's check out the articulation once the figure is transformed in. So articulation is actually quite good. In terms of the arms, it's on a ball joint. Actually a double ball joint, so we have upwards motion all around, elbow joint, bend about this far, and wrist joints, there's no rotation but a front and a back. Now in terms of the head, it can actually move front and back, and also side to side as well, surprisingly for this transformation figure. So that's very good. There's no waist articulation, but in terms of leg articulation, we can move it front, back all the way. It's quite good. Almost a full 360. And we have the knee. We can bend all the way back to its transforming state. So that's pretty good as well. We also have a rotation at the knee as well. And for the ankle, we have a pivot front back and no side to side pivot, but we have a side to side rotation at the ankle as well. So overall, the articulation is actually quite well for a transforming figure like this. So here we have the earlier accessory shown, which is the blade over here, attached to the figure as well as a weapon. There's a peg on the hand which attaches to the blade, so you don't have to worry about the weapon falling off. Now, for the aesthetics, once it's transformed, I gotta say, it may be actually even better than the bike. Although personally I like the bike form better and I may display it in the bike form in the future myself, but I gotta say the colors definitely pop much more once you transform the figure. Besides the obvious same type of silverish, really light tintish blue color that we've seen on the bike, we have much more showing of the golden color that I was talking about hiding inside the figure itself. So we have them on the shoulder pads, the hands, the feet, and also the horns, and also part of the chest plate. We also have a new color that appeared, which is the face, which we have this light red and a combination of dark red. And of course, we also have this reddish skull symbol on the chest painted as well. Once we have the figure Johanna transformed, we can see is much bigger than its bike counterpart. It stands much taller, so let's do a size comparison. Here's the Figma Makoto Nijima along with her stand or persona of Johanna. Here's the SH Figuarts Premium Color Edition Vegeta. And we also have a 1000 Toys Dante. I know a lot of you guys are probably wondering how does the bike Johanna scale with the Figma Queen of Makoto Nijima. So to answer your questions, the bike actually scales very well with the Figma Queen. As we see, now we have the Figma Queen riding the bike. In the promo shots that Sentinel Toys actually provided, they also showed some shots of the Figma along with the bike. So it was made intended to fit and scale well with the Figma Queen. Now let's do some quick size comparisons with other figures that are similar size to Figma. Here we have a SH Figuarts Premium Color Edition Vegeta. Here we have a Devil May Cry Dante from 1000 Toys. Something to note here is that the Figma Queen scales very nicely with the bike Johanna. So this means that even if you're not a fan of the Persona series, but you want a cool looking transforming bike to take pictures with or to pose with your other Figmas, you can consider grabbing this figure of Johanna as it will scale very well with any type of figures in the Figma line. Alternatively though, what this means is that while the Figma line scales very nicely with this bike, other 112 size figures may not scale that well with this bike because the Figma line in general is a bit smaller sized compared to the usual 112 scaled figures. So here's an example. I took the 1000 Toys Dante and put it on the bike. So the 1000 Toys Dante is 112 scale around and similar scale to a Marvel Legends 112 scale. And with the Dante sitting on the bike, it looks a little bit weird because the bike is too small for him. Final thoughts on the figure. Sentinel Toys did an excellent job on recreating Johanna from the video game Persona 5 and the animation Persona 5. This figure is really unique as one of its major selling points is the transformation gimmick. Personally, I had great fun transforming Johanna from the bike form into the form that we see in front of us right now. Another big positive about this release is the paint job and aesthetics. The paintwork is very well done and the color separation is done extremely precisely. Upon inspecting the figure closely, whether in the form in front of us right now or the bike form, I noticed that there aren't any paint bleedings or paint defects on my figure, so that's very nice. And also in terms of aesthetics, it faithfully represents the animation and the artwork in Persona 5. If I must pick some negatives about this figure is that if you were to transform it often, there might be many chances of you scratching the paint, but it might be avoidable if you're careful during the transformation process. Another small gripe that if I have to pick on something, then I will mention is that during the transformation process, there was one part where I had to take the pipe part out and separate it and put it back on the figure itself. So technically, that part is called part forming and not transforming. So besides that though, the figure itself is a full transformation. But all the above that I just mentioned are extremely small gripes about the figure. So in the end, you guys can tell that I really do love this figure and it's a perfect representation of Johanna in the Persona series. So what are you guys waiting for? If you like the Persona series or you like a transforming figure such as Transformers, go ahead and get this figure. Alright, there goes the end of the review. Let me know down in the comments below if you guys like this design of Johanna and are fans of the Persona series. So as always, support the channel by liking the video and subscribing. Remember to stay young at heart and we're out.
I just wanna be happy, happy tonight. For you in the morning, I'ma leave without giving a warning. I'ma leave without giving a, but every time